I went from living like monks, living out back of the trunk, to pockets of fat with the mums, pockets of fat like the clubs. Now I am living like Trump, now I am living like Trump. Mimosas and mimosas, mimosas and mimosas, mimosas and mimosas, the Morris Costa Nostra. Pulling up in Testarossa, recharging the debt, discharging the debt, discharging the debt, recharging the jet. Swipers on deck, ciphers on deck, ciphers on deck, wipers on deck, wipers on deck. My life is on check, my life is on check, my life is on tubes, my life is a Jew, my life is on you. My wife is on two, my wife is on two. I'm going for three, you know it is me. Bread is the pillar, the jet is my pillar.
What, who, when, why, and how. Now, this is something that we have to think about. The Mandela effect is name given to a phenomenon where large numbers of people share alternative memories of past events. Pragmatists state that it's simply a type of psychically shared false memory syndrome, or simply a failure of collective memory, while occultists, metaphysicians, freethinkers, and conspiracists conjecture that there may be a subtle underlying space-time distortion phenomenon at work, i.e. parallel universes, phasing into our own, time travel, time warping, etc. This phrase, now this is interesting, this phrase eventually became a reference to a divergence between recorded history and individual memories. Recorded history. Recorded history. Now they're going to have us question whether we're even indigenous, whether we even have melanin. Now, this is who created the words. This is who made it famous. Now here's how she made it famous. Here's what she said went down. Fiona Broome is an author and researcher studying topics such as ghosts, fairies, and alternative history. Alternative history. As well as a consultant for paranormal TV shows, many of which she stars in. She started one of the internet's oldest ghost-related website, Holla Hill, blah, blah. Now Encounter Ghosts, blah, blah. Written more than 1,000 articles for magazines and websites since 2006. She's been a frequent invited guest and panelist at DragonCon. Listen. In 2010, she and a DragonCon security manager called Shadow coined the phrase the Mandela effect. In the green room of that year's DragonCon convention, held Labor Day weekend, September 4th, 5th, and 6th. Broome claims that she doesn't really recall who coined the actual phrase first, but she remembers that the concept started when Shadow remembered that Nelson Mandela died in the South African prison in the 1980s. Strangely, others in the green room shared that exact same memory, but we know he died in 2013, forgive me. Yeah, that's the Mandela. Okay, let's talk about the why. Here is the Mandela that they're talking about. Is this the Mandela they're talking about that the effect was named after? Is this the Mandela, the warrior, the politically focused statesman under apartheid, the one called the Black Pimpernel, the shining light, the son of Africa, culturally aware, no compromise warrior Mandela under apartheid? Is that the Mandela that is the effect? Or are we dealing with the tactical guerrilla leader and statesman Mandela under apartheid when we talk about the Mandela effect? Or are we dealing with this Mandela? Now the reason why I am bringing this into the equation is because you have to know what is behind the scenes. Something that's given to the public has about 10 different strings attached to it, based upon those who control the information from out of the Pentagon and from all of the secret societies. So you must understand what the symbolic references are, because what they do is they deal with symbolism first, mathematics second, numerology. They deal with all of those things before they move. So, are we dealing with the Mandela defect? Is this the Mandela we're dealing with when they talk about the Mandela effect? Now, very, very carefully, watch this. What was that word again? Amandala, right? You know what amandala means? Power. That's a South African word. That's a Zulu word. Amandala. But then his name is Mandela. Mandela. Watch carefully. Prisoner number 11656763. The last two letters, the last two numbers are the years. Now watch how they trapped the power. Because remember, that was the battle cry of his people. Amandala, power. Now, he was sentenced to life imprisonment June the 12th, 1964. 13th of June, he arrives at Robben Islands, assigned to number 46664. Saturday, 13 June 1964. Saturday is Saturn's day, which is the 6th day. June is the 6th month. The day, 13314. The year, 1964, 2. You put 4 and 2 together, what do you get? 6. So, here we have, in the middle, right there, exactly what it is that we're dealing with as far as the power that they wanted to capture by taking who was the leader, who was on everybody's mind. You have to remember, your mind is the power. And if your mind is on a specific person as your leader, if you bequeath that particular concept or perception of someone, you have empowered them, and therefore they can use them as a means, as a battery of power. So understand again, the 666 portion. Again, we go to Kabbalah. Here's something for you all who are studying Kabbalah. 13th of June, when he was sentenced to Robben Island, in Jewish Kabbalistic chronology and sorcery, it turns out to be the year of Tammuz, which equals 2488 from the year of creation, 1273 BCE, before the Common Era. If you add all three of them up, what do you get? 4. When you put the bottom number at 1273, what do you get? And there you are. So, it may seem trite, but they understand and overstand everything that they're doing when they are trapping the power. Know what the number 4 means. And I know the brother, I think it's red and blue pill. Speak about the 44, the number of 4s. Well, we're talking about the number of stability. Carbon, which is the first element in the periodic table with 4 valence electrons, the basis of all organic life next to silicon. The adverse polarities of 4 equal stagnation, fossilization, rigidity, and paralysis. The 4 worlds of the tree of life. The 4 creatures with the arms of Freemasonry. Keep that in mind. The 4 primary mental functions, dimensions of modern science: length, breadth, depth, width, and time. All placed within the oblong square. Any Masons in the house? You know about the oblong square, don't you? Okay? Well, here's your oblong square. The oblong square, Mandela was in prison for 27 years. 2 plus 7? 18 of those at Robben Island. 1 and 8? I guess everybody didn't take arithmetic in class. A rock quarry off of the coast of Cape Town. 4 plus 4, I'm just giving you these things so you can check them. 8, 9 plus 9 plus 8 equals 26. Keep that number in mind. 2 plus 6 equals 8. But here, check it again. We have the 666 number. And we have it encased again within the oblong box. Look at the way they position the prisoners to break rocks. That is not an accident. One more time. The oblong box comes from what they call the Pythagorean, triad. That oblong box essentially deals with the 4-4. Do you see it? The 4-4 with the 8 in the middle. Again, we're coming down to the 26. What is the 26? Well, let's go to this particular part. As or Astarte or Ishtar is the Akkadian Babylonian goddess of fertility, love, war, sex, and what? Power. Amandla. Astarte symbolizes love, including love between humans and animals. Hold that thought. According to Duran, woe unto him whom Ashtar had honored. Okay? The fickle goddess treated her passing lovers cruelly, and the unhappy wretches paid dearly for the favors heaped upon them. Gilgamesh said, there was Tammuz. Wait a minute, we were operating in the year of Tammuz? Okay, everything is correlating. For those of you who don't study the numerology and gematria, thank you, this is something that you can actually go into at this particular time and see how these people who are the enemy, who are the adversary, actually operate. So Gilgamesh says, there was Tammuz, the lover of your youth. You struck and turned him into a what? Wolf. Now his own herd boys chase him away. His own hounds worry his flanks. For him you decree wailing year after year after year for 27 years. Again, we go down. Year of Tammuz. This corresponds to the book of Numbers. Look up the book of Numbers. What does the book of Numbers say? The year of Tammuz, it comes up to Korah, which means barren, ice, hail, frost. It also comes down to the word, what? Agitator. What was he? Indeed. And here we go. 4 plus 6 plus 6 plus 4 equals what? 26 is the number of Yehovah. Yahweh. "26, the number, listen, is the atomic number of iron. Ogun, god of iron. Orisha of the warriors, soldiers, smith makers, metal craftsmen, trapped. The power. 26, the last letter of the Western alphabet system, Z. In Kabbalah, Zayin represents the struggle between opposites. The struggle for existence, the struggle between Yaqub and the angel on Mount Pineal. One more time. 44666 26. In European Western Freemasonry, there are honorary degrees, levels, or stations of achievement after being raised to the Scottish Rites degree of Master Mason, the 3rd degree. On the York Rites, we see from 1, 2, 3, and 4. The Lodge of Perfection, the Council of Princes of Jerusalem, Chapter of the Rosicrucians, and the Consistory. Are we dealing with the Consistory? What's the number of 26? Let's go down to here. The number of the Consistory is, the 26th degree equals Prince of Mercy. Okay? Now this degree, here is the mandate for this degree. Teaches the quality of mercy. That it is a spirit of compassion and a tenderness of heart which disposes us to overlook and forgive injuries and to treat an offender better than he deserves. Which Mandela are we talking about when they're talking about the Mandela defect? Okay? Let's go to this next part. What do we see after you have hit the 26th degree? Archbishop Desmond Tutu was the chairman of South Africa's Truth and Reconciliation Commission, the Forgiveness Project. After 100 years of murder and slaughter and half genocide and squalor. What does he say? The TRC was created by Nelson Mandela's government, and the National Union was stated, to forgive is not just to be altruistic, it is the best form of self-interest. It is also a process that does not exclude hatred and anger. These emotions are all part of being human. You should never hate yourself for hating others who do terrible things. The depth of your love is shown by the extent of your anger. Okay? Again, pacified by the leaders. Which Mandela are we talking about? So, are we talking about this Mandela? The Mandela who was the warrior? The Mandela who essentially fought and bled for it? Or are we talking about this Mandela? Okay, here vested with the Knights of Malta Order of St. John's, the Duke of Gloucestershire, on November 23rd, 2004 in London, England, Queen Elizabeth II, the reigning monarch of the Commonwealth since 1952. is at the apex of the order of St. John's as its sovereign head, followed by the Grand Priory. The order requires the Mason to profess and practice the Christian faith. What happened to your South African? Gone. The order is centered on allegorical elements of the Knights of Malta, inheritors of the medieval Knights Hospitalier. So, is it this Mandela, the strategist, the wartime general, or are we again talking about this man? Which is the Mandela effect? Let's go forward and let's take a little look at how Mandela, the one that we have lionized, and you know every time they build up a black man, what happens? He's either really controlled and bent over, or he has been lobotomized. 27 years in captivity. You didn't tell me that there was no kind of psychological lobotomy going on? And here we are again, and here he is sitting amongst serpents and reptiles. And the only one smiling. Here we go with that boot black. And everybody is lionizing him. Anytime the Zionists and the Vatican lionizes your activities and puts you out in the world for someone to be suspect, please. Okay, be suspect. Look who else joined the club. This man was so hated by his people that they didn't even want to bury him in the land of his birth. The only people that showed up for this maggot, who had enough money to get rid of the debt of 3 or 4 African nations at that time in his own personal repository. After he died, only his daughter and a couple of people showed up to his funeral. Burn in hell. And here we have Desmond Tutu, Thabo Mbeki, the one who actually took over. You think he could take over from Mandela without having gone through? What about the Governor General of Jamaica, Sir Patrick Allen? Well, my Jamaican brothers and sisters in the house. Something to think about, no, right? Let's go to this man here, King Adamti, the first of Ghana. Where are our people? Who's working for us? Well, Aleister Crowley and your boy, Sammy the Davis. Don't be fooled. All of these people here are run by these serpents. Know that they are the ones. And the thing about it is, the one on the bottom is a Jesuit too, which is against the code of the Catholic Church. No Jesuit is supposed to sit on the throne of the white Pope. Well, we got one. He's the one, after Trump was elected, who fired all the Masons. Why? Because Trump is a Grand Mason of an old lodge called the Lodge of Solomon. The old Lodge of Solomon was tasked with maintaining the republicanism of the United States, which Obama and all of the so-called Democrats were actually about to give away. They sent away all of your constitutional rights, your indigenous rights, and put them in the hands of foreigners. And most people are saying, well, we hate Trump, Trump is this and Trump is that. What you complaining about? As I said, you don't have a horse in this race. But it don't mean you can't bet on the race. I'm going to say that again. Y'all didn't hear that. You don't have a horse in this race. If you think about Hillary Clinton, then you are just a sorry and, oh my God, I didn't want to talk to you. Wow. If you think about putting that crazy woman in there instead. So every time you come to me on Facebook and cry the blues about what it is that Trump did, you are by de facto, you are by default supporting the other side, which don't mean a damn thing. So what you do now is you step off, because what's going on is a war between secret societies. White people are fighting for the scraps, and they want to know who is going to harness the black energy on this planet. So you got to stop talking about Trump. To hell with Trump. and start getting your thing together. Are you arming yourself? You start talking about all these white boys with all these weapons and so forth. What about you? Start locking and loading. If you know who the enemy is, why are you crying the blues? Just be ready. Start teaching your own children. Pull them out of the schools. If you want to protest, stop playing around with this government and everything that they hand out to you. Understand and overstand. Every time you complain, you essentially show how powerless you are. If you are marching and picketing and bitching and moaning, you are showing how powerless you are. The men today, our men, essentially, we lost the battle, but we did not lose the war. We did not lose the war. It's just that we have not yet come together. We got so many different factions. Everybody want to be the king. Everybody want to be the chief and this, and I'm the God and all of that. You don't even want to participate. Just using the word that I'm God is telling you I'm already apart from you. How do we come together? How do we know what to do together? How do we build businesses? Because if we ain't got nothing else in the office of the presidency today, we got a businessman. Let me say that again. This snake is a businessman. He's about to enrich himself by bringing business back into the United States of America. And you got to understand and understand that he has been tasked by the secret order that was the same as Jackson. That's why they tried to move his face off of the $20 bill. That was a message they were sending to Trump. Because Jackson was the one who kicked out the central bankers when he became president. And now you see Trump is getting ready to go after the Federal Reserve. See, y'all are hating on things, but you're not watching the game. You're not watching the strategy. You're too busy. Oh, look what he did. He talked about grabbing a woman's crotch. Oh, my God. And you got Soros, who's funding Black Lives Matter. Started by 2 homosexual women and a bisexual one. And funded to the tune by your boy here. I don't understand. How is it that you could take nearly $50 million from Michael Bloomberg and from George Soros and support a movement backed by that money? Soros, a man who turned his own people into the Nazis. Are you thinking? I ain't for Trump. I'm telling you to think about what's going on. Watch the game. It's chess, not checkers. And y'all playing checkers. While these strategists are playing chess with your mind. Remember, you are the prize. What you going to do? What are you going to do to up the ante on your worth? You're going to march again? You're going to show me how many people can carry signs? You're going to be part of the transgender and the feminists who want to talk about their periods and all about the, you know, how much I can wake up with a blood stain on my sheets. You don't know what that's like, Mr. Trump. What the hell? Why would you care about all that nonsense? It's distractions. Okay? So, again, understand the synchronicity, the synthetic synchronicity and the art of temporal deception. Now, temporal just simply means time. How do you tweak your perception of time? Okay? Listen carefully. What did Sun Tzu say? Sun Tzu said, all war is based on deception. You're being deceived. You are at war and don't know it. But the war is not being prosecuted on the streets except when you see them kill our brothers and sisters on the street. The real war is on your mind. Okay? Be so subtle that you are invisible. Be so mysterious that you are intangible. Then you will control your rival's fate. And that's exactly what they've been doing. Question: could the Mandela effect be about shaking the foundations of trust in one's own personal perceptions and interpretations of reality, and imparting that sense of insecurity through comparisons with another's individual sense of their own insecurity and mistrust of what they came to believe is reality? Those who experience it usually files it in their minds as their own personal observational quirk that appears contrary to the consensus reality that we all live in. This motivates them to seek validation of their experience from someone else's perspective. That's how the mental meme of doubt becomes viral. For example, we may all have seen both Chick-fil-A and Chick-fil-A, okay, signs at individual points in time, but did not consciously imprint the differences in spelling, only the overt message the billboards were intended to convey. That is, come eat the food at Chick-fil-A. You didn't care how it was spelled. But now they're making that an issue. Thus, if the so-called Mandela effect is based solely on one's memory, then it is purely a personal thing, and looking for proof that it in fact exists would be foolish because it is a subjective experience, and there should be no tangible evidence of the thing that is claimed to have changed. So, without tangible proof, how does one prove the Mandela effect is real? How does one prove that these people are not suffering from, say, confabulation or false memory syndrome, if no one can offer explanations as to why it happened in the first place? The paradox inherent in this phenomenon, then, is that it falls neatly into the contemporary catalog of, or category of, Hitchens' razor, which came about as an atheist's comparison to Occam's razor. The term is based on a 2003 Slate online article by Christopher Hitchens, where he says, listen carefully, what can be asserted without evidence can be dismissed without evidence. So if I don't believe you and you can't show me the evidence, then when I dismiss it, that's it. You can open those doors now, family, because I know everybody getting warm and I don't want everybody. No, don't close it. Open it. Open it. Okay, thank you. So Hitchens' razor can thus be classified as an epistemological razor, which says that the burden of proof regarding the truthfulness of a claim lies with the one making the claim. And if this burden of proof is not met, the claim is unfounded, and those who are opposed to this claim need not argue any further in order to dismiss it. Epistemology is the investigation of what distinguishes justified belief from an opinion. Now, in light of this, listen carefully, we must now ask ourselves, are these perceptual displacements and distortion of memory being triggered by the correcting processes of converging time continua, where the humans with the genetic consciousness frequency signatures from parallel timelines seated here in this specific quantum energy vortex thousands of years ago are now having flashbacks related to the parallel realities that they were originally from? Quantum science now claims that our reality doesn't actually exist. Really? Didn't our ancestors say that all is illusion? Here they are now pimping the perceptions of our ancient sciences and stepping into the realms of metaphysics, stating that all is consciousness. They are only now coming to the realization that any exploration or interaction with physical attributes of the subatomic realm, operating outside or apart from understanding the operations of human consciousness, is a chronic waste of neuronal activity. Could millions of people be remembering the same things as opposed to millions of other people remembering different versions of the same thing, both be right or both be wrong? I have a sickening suspicion that we might be experiencing the continuance of a Operation Mindfuck, and that's a real, actual operation, by the way. It's a PSYOP called Project Mockingbird, one being coordinated with Project Bluebeam and the Labyrinth Group's Blank Slate technology, all being staged through a multimedia D-Wave AI temporal computer apparatus using next-level versions of CERN's World Wide Web. Or perhaps we are truly caught up in converging time streams. Huh? Now this is an abstract talking about temporal perception. Comprises subjective phenomenon such as simultaneity, successiveness, temporal order, subjective present, temporal continuity, and subjective duration. These elementary temporal experiences are hierarchically related to each other, which means they are, or that they operate in an order of primacy, i.e. prioritized. Functional system states with the duration of 30 milliseconds are implemented by neuronal oscillations, and they provide a mechanism to define successiveness. Now, what I'm doing, please stick with me. This may be tedious, but what I am doing is laying the groundwork for you to understand when the time comes, as I am now going to work you into understanding how deep the deception goes, how incredibly insidious this reality is, and what it is that we gird your mind, how to get your mind ready for it, what to look for, what to listen for. And this is necessary. This is all the minutia, the aggravative little, that they say that if you want to know where the devil is, it's where? In the details. And you have to know the details. This is why I have been so fastidious in my studies and why I enjoy finding out the details of something. And that's what I want to impart to you. The joy of finding out how something works. To be able to solve your own problems. To become so anal with just one thing, staying an hour on one thing until you get it. Because then that opens up 10 hours of information that comes flooding in. I've been there. I know how it feels. Keep the patience. Understand and understand that all of this is relative, as you'll come to see. Now, I'm saying that temporal deception, like the temporal perception, that is the art of perceptual manipulation as a tactic of the art of mind war, results from the manipulation of subjective phenomena, i.e., something that I call the orchestration of coincidence. Think about that. The orchestration of coincidence. You may think something is coincidental, but it has been synthetically synchronized into your reality. And you think it's just something that you went into, oh yeah, well that's naturally progressive from this particular point to this. No. You're a rat in a maze. A maze that is invisible to your senses. Where we heard that before? What movie? Matrix. Right. I see we just have bystanders. Is the church alive? I can't see. Can I get a amen? No. Let me get an amen, Ra. Amen, Ra. Baba, you hear this? Amen, Ra. Like they just woke up. All right. It is the restructuring the hierarchical order of elementary experiences and their relationships to one another by shifting the order in which the brain prioritizes them, i.e. recording their order of primacy. Suddenly manipulating the neuronal oscillations of the brain that allow for the perception of successiveness or synchronicity might cause the system states of the brain that code and orient our sense of successiveness as time to be steered into synthetically prepared perceptual time loops orchestrated by those in possession of sophisticated perception distortion scalar technologies. And these technologies exist that can distort your reality, can distort the way you think, can distort what you perceive to be real. Now, let's deal with the special effects, the codification of perceptual idiosyncrasies. The codification of perceptual idiosyncrasies. You think, again, that these little quirks that you have, that somehow they come out of nowhere. Somehow, I'm in this space and, hey, that's interesting. If I wasn't here, this wouldn't have happened. You're right. You're there for a reason. You're being orchestrated. Now, Buddha said, what did he say? Myth becomes ever near to reality. Now it's funny, people are looking and saying, well, goddamn, what is Buddha doing with flying saucers? Okay. This is what they'll tell you is happening to your brain when you're dealing with time displacement perceptual anomalies. They're saying there's something wrong with you. And the psychiatrists are the priests that monitor how consciousness should be accepted as normal or natural. If you do things that seem crazy and out of order, and you do it too many times, and the rest of the sheep and the cattle, seeing that you're kind of pushing your way and disturbing the way the herd acts, let's pick him out, let's pick her out, sit her down in a chair and say, talk to me, what's wrong? Those are the people that are essentially reacting most naturally to what's actually happening. Most of us have become very numb to the reality that we're existing in. We are so numb that one of my elder teachers, Krishnamurti, said, it is no achievement, and I'm paraphrasing, it is no achievement to be normal in an insane society. If the society is insane and you're normal in that, then you're insane. If you don't feel it every day, you walk outside and you see the madness in people's faces. If you're not sensitized, then you're desensitized. You're supposed to feel, empathize with the people that you're walking next to and seeing. I don't care if they're white, black, we're all in this craziness, though we have to take care of each other. First, we have to know that you and I go to the bathroom the same damn way. We get clothed, we get cold, we have babies the same damn way. Just because a brother is on there with another color and he's wearing another color, you're going to kill your brother because he got a handkerchief on? That kind of mentality is insanity, and they have found the comfort zone in that insanity, and that's the insanity. So this is what they tell you. You are having a problem. Misattribution of memory, confabulation, cryptomnesia, consistency bias, false memory syndrome, confirmation bias, cognitive dissonance, misinformation defect, Dies, Roediger, McDermott, whatever the hell that was, and I had to put that down. I had to just make sure that you see that so that you go and do your own due diligence about what that is. Anybody ever heard of the butterfly effect? Okay, let me just talk to you about this. The butterfly effect is an axiom of chaos theory, or deterministic chaos. It is applied to several scientific disciplines, i.e. meteorology, sociology, okay? I'm just dealing with that there. Environmental science, computer science, engineering, economics, biology, ecology, and philosophy. It deals with predictable, deterministic behavioral systems, which are predictable for a while and then appear to become random. Based on the hypothesis that time is a moldable element, listen carefully, time is an element. Let me break that down to you. What do they call fire, air, water, and earth? How do you think they come together for them to manifest to your senses? In time. Time is the cohesion. Time is a real thing. It's a tangible thing that can be molded. And the perception of time lays deep inside of your pineal and in different parts of your brain. How you perceive time is how you codify your own existence in relationship to the now. Because you are in an illusion. You are under a compression, under 16,000 pounds per square inch of pressure that constitutes your reality and how you operate in it, how your thoughts become seeds that operate within that. So, this is what we ask. Based on the hypothesis that time is a moldable element, the question arises, are demiurgic? Now, what is demiurge? We'll see. Technology is now manipulating the deterministic nature of chaos so to more accurately, listen, control human perceptions of reality by decreasing or arcing the diurnal, okay, the durational intervals of perceived time so that the uncertainty in a forecast is significantly minimized or eliminated altogether. Now, if you are dealing with the uncertainty principle called chaos, how do you control chaos? You remove the duration of inconsistencies so that chaos now becomes an operable and moldable reality. If you can remove any doubt in your deterministic targeting, then you can pre-register someone's reality before they even understand that they have been stepping into a world that you created. Now, this is where it starts getting deep. Remember I told you this is the PhD. We ain't even get started. I'm just giving you the, this is the spice, the ingredients. All right? So, understand, the demiurge is the second creator. There is no creator. There is a second creator. There is that which is the known, that which is the unknown, and to my students, next, the unknowable. The known, the unknown, the unknowable. There is that thing that is beyond any human comprehension, because anything that you could comprehend, you have reduced. And you cannot reduce the irreducible. So therefore, we are participating. We are cells. We are intentions of that creator, unknowable. Because of us, that thing knows itself. Let me say that again. You didn't hear me. You are the feedback mechanism to the Creator's intention to know itself. Because being everything and all, it cannot know itself. To know yourself, you have to retract unto yourself. That is the 10% they speak about. That is what the ancient Kemetu knew about creation being negation. Creation and negation are the same. You cannot create outside of this thing. There's no outside to it. So there is an indrawing of its reality into itself. And they say, the Hindu or the Dravidians say, that as we live, the Creator sleeps. And we are the dream of the Creator. And we are the intentions to be. Every time we act, every time we love, every time we hate, every time we do anything, we are feeding back that energy, because all is energy and mental. Understand and overstand that. So, is a second creator. They are the manipulators of matter, who are virulently antagonistic to all that is purely spiritual. This is what Gnosticism teaches. This being the case, it is safe to assume that it is now possible through QCOM, that's another word I call, QCOM is quantum computers. Okay? QCOM technology, to manipulate the idiosyncratic faculties of humanity in real time, thereby supplanting individual deterministic thoughts, desires, and intentions by artificially lessening the proportional uncertainties of deterministic behavioral systems, thus proportionally reducing the uncertainty of outcomes in the synthetically synchronized scenarios of reality. If so, this means that a meaningful forecast and prediction of human behavior can indeed be made due to the removal of the limits of predictability dictated by the parameters of what is known as the Lyapunov or the Lyapunov time. Now, Lyapunov time reflects the limits of the predictability of a system. Okay, this is what they said. Is it predictable? How long does this system take to be predictable, to know what is going to happen? Okay, now, remember this? Anybody ever had this happen? Really? You really know you had deja vu? Mm-hmm. Do you remember what they told Neo when he said that? Okay? Deja vu is the feeling of familiarity, from French meaning already seen, the phenomenon of having a strong sensation that an event or experience currently being experienced has already been experienced in the past. It's believed that two normally separate brain processes are activated at the wrong time, like two heads of a tape player, one recording the memory and the other playing it back at the same time. If the brain begins playing back while it's recording, the present might feel like a memory. Between 31 and 96% of individuals report this. So you're all in there. Okay, there, you got to be in here somewhere. All right. Now, here's something you never heard of. Déjà vécu. There's déjà vu and déjà vécu. It is the experience of having seen an event before. Uh-oh. But in great detail, such as recognizing smells and sounds. Déjà vu is said to operate through the temporal or time processing lobes of the brain, where epilepsy occurs, in the recollective experiential circuitry that regulates the process of remembering. In people experiencing pathological episodes of déjà vu, the circuitry is said to be continuously active, feeding the brain with a perpetual feeling of recollection without any real memory attached. The same subjective feeling of memory that leads a sufferer to believe his déjà vu is real can trick eyewitnesses into believing flawed identifications or fool manipulated populations into believing induced memories. So what part of the brain are they going to be playing with to be dealing with this Mandela effect? Are we finding out? Yes, we are finding out all of the ways that you are being given epilepsy. What are some of the feelings? Odd feelings, often indescribable, unusual smells, tastes, and feelings, daydreaming episodes, headaches, falling, unusual experiences, out-of-body sensations, feeling detached, body looks or feels different, situations or people look unexpectedly familiar or strange, tingling numbness or feelings of electricity in a part of the body, feeling spacey and fuzzy or confused, periods of forgetfulness or memory lapses, jerking movements of the arm, leg, or body, unexplained confusion, sleepiness, weakness, losing control of urine and stool unexpectedly. Also, another one that they're going to get you with, synesthesia, is a neurological phenomenon where stimulation of one sensory or cognitive pathway leads to automatic involuntary experiences in a second sensory or cognitive pathway. Synesthesia is said to develop during childhood when children are intensively engaged with abstract concepts for the first time. This hypothesis, referred to as semantic vacuum hypothesis, explains why the most common forms of synesthesia are grapheme color, spatial sequence, and number form. Pay attention to this and keep that in mind. Graphene color. Okay, I'm giving you all the little hints to what's to come. Only a fraction of types of synesthesia have been evaluated by scientific research, so we don't even know the different kinds that there are. Now we speak about the holographic, oh, I'm sorry. You can see, right? The holographic universe, aka the Akashic Records. Now, our ancient Dravidian adept masters taught that upon the etheric fabrics of space and time are etched all thoughts, deeds, and activities ever expressed or participated in by individuals and our collective humanity from the very beginning of time. They taught that based upon the impetus, intention, trajectories, and courses of our thoughts, and how they take and our actions take in real time, we can view our individual and collective pasts as well as our futures. It is quite literally the cosmic book of life, the demiurge's supercomputing consciousness cataloging system written upon the ethers in real time to be assessed as our past time and future time continuum. It has been the black man's cosmological D-wave quantum first source cosmic computer. The priesthood of quantum physics hypothesizes that what our ancestors called the Akashic Record is somewhat like an immense photographic holographic medium of cosmic energy imprinting all the feelings, desires, and material-based experiences of our plane into a cosmic supercomputer storage bank. These, or those with high psychic capabilities or technologies sophisticated and sensitive enough, are able to access and read the life experiences of every soul spark that has taken human form since falling into the realm of time. They would have access as well to the encoded reactions and experiences of the entire animal kingdom and the aggregate of karmic-based thought forms enumerated by every human and non-human conscious entity throughout time. Our timeline. What they are measuring with their instruments are the fluctuating threshold density of mind-emanated energies broadcasted into the ethers by conscious carbon and silicon-based life forms, imprinting their individuated and collective intentions upon the medium of psychospiritual activity our ancestors called the Akasha, or ethers. And this is where the manipulation of the records of humanity's collective consciousness can be done, where our cognitive abilities to discern the differences between the energy imprints or actual human experiences versus synthetically woven astral pictographs created by artificially seeded holographic thought forms and engrams placed there by controllers of the light energy reality matrix, or the LERM, become blurred and distorted enough to implement what we have now come to know as the Mandela effect. Sounds really well, PhD. We're not doing Mary Had a Little Lamb. These words are for you to study. I have always written in such a way that at first reading, you're not going to get it. Because the depth of the subject matter is so intense that you cannot give it a frivolous, this is the sentence, and this is all there is. Because people keep telling me that you all are ADHD. Man, they don't want to hear all that. They just want to hear what they can listen to, and boom, got music behind it and so forth. I don't give a rat's ass what is being said about how to teach. I know that sooner or later, if we don't set the bar up as teachers, y'all will never get there. Y'all will never understand where they're operating from. So this is a class in not only the English language and all of the ways that they've hidden and taken certain words out of your dictionary. Have you noticed that? Because that gets you to thinking about the way you can form your reality and solve your own problems. Understand that we are essentially thinkers. And if we are not allowed to think about our own problems, and we have to look for an expert to go and sit down by and tell them, listen, here's what your problem really is. Well, no, hell with that. They're going to do it with your children. The first thing they do is take away their ability to solve problems. They become consumers very early. Shut the TV off. When you have children, ages 2, 3, 4, and 5, they shouldn't even be looking or even playing with any kind of electronics. They should be out in dirt. They should be out playing with animals. They should be out gardening. They should be out there someplace by the ocean. They should be out there just listening and developing both sides of their brain. Today, they're only developing the left side of their brain. The right side has gone to hell. Okay, here we go. Here's where we start getting deep. They are searching for the threshold frequencies of human consciousness as it functions within the holographic and hologrammic dimensions of third density space-time. By isolating them with the help of their rapidly evolving AI D-Wave technologies, that is artificial intelligence, D-Wave technologies, they will have the ability to steer, manipulate, and reprogram the consciousness accretion capabilities and thus the ultimate destinies of the human species. Consciousness accretion means by degrees. If I can lock you down, lock down your genetics and the intention of the genetics to grow and to perfect itself, if I can dissuade your genetics and your mind from operating and connecting with your genetics, because your genetics are connected to your mind and to your thinking, so what you were born with doesn't have to be what you are today. If your parents were doing something and they genetically passed something on to you, it doesn't mean that that's what you're going to be suffering with. That's the beauty. That is what the redemption is. That is what the so-called forgiveness is. Get your mind right, and your body will follow. Free your mind? Oh, I see we got Funkadelic fans. The question then becomes, listen, is the Mandela effect a psyop to see who can most easily be manipulated into believing a media-embedded psycho-spiritual meme created for the sheeple to question reality or its malleability? Could the Mandela effect be a well-orchestrated, well-funded trailer, a crowdfunding sales pitch to raise interest for a quantum computer at $20 million a piece, by the way, to fund another Columbus for the exploration of another world? Questions? Oh, we ain't got started yet. Are you with me, family? Because I need you to be with me, because I'm slowly building up for you to see exactly what you're going to be dealing with. Okay? Predictive programming. Predictive programming. Okay? We're going into the mind at this particular time. And now we're going to understand how they play with your mind. How you think you're coming into something new, but you're not. Look at this. Anybody know where CERN really came from? Why they would use this acronym? Well, look at who it is that they're actually dealing with. Cernunnos is the god depicted in Celtic horn gods of fertility, life, animals, wealth, and the underworld. So if he is the underworld overseer, who then is he? Yell it out. Osa. Osiris is the Greek. Isa is, yeah, Isa, yes, Isa. Right, Baba? Okay. So, look up here. What do you see up there? Crescent moon, right? Well, watch this. Cernunnos on the right, in his capacity as the Lord of the Underworld, is a caricature of God Shiva on the left, thus representing the marriage of Eastern and Western occult perspectives regarding the nature of time, space, and reality. Are you getting it yet? Yes. Understand exactly and understand exactly what we are dealing with. These people are seriously about their gods, and they're seriously about their mathematics, their geometries, their rituals that you don't want to deal with anymore. You just want to go ahead and worship and just go ahead and call upon Jesus. He ain't did shit for you, but you're going to still call upon him. You remind me of an abused woman, an abused wife. I know, hate me. That's, you know, I know. Christians, just a few things for you. He ain't coming back. Count on it. And if you see a white man on the cloud, blue beam. Are you looking at it? Predictive programming, in other words, preemptive consent via synthetic synchronicity, is orienting the subconscious mind for the matter-of-fact acceptance of future end results by playing out those desired results as thematic entertainment scenarios subtly embedded in movies, music, and TV shows, which coincidentally later come to pass. It is the mass manipulation of perception by the parasitic elite, coordinating the future consent and acceptance of a pre-planned objective by mimicking the desired end result in movies, TV shows, while the minds of the viewing or listening audience are set in a beta mode, i.e. the download mode where the brain has no critical filter. This, in effect, minimizes the impact when the event does occur because, well, people have already seen it happen already. It's easier for the sheeple to accept the circumstance because it has been normalized through the media. For example, CERN began with a convention in 1952, ratified their agreement and broke ground in 1954. Note the years. Their proton synchrotron started up in November of 1959. Their ultimate achievement to date, the Hadron Collider, began in 1998. Coincidentally, within the time frames of these events, between 1952 and 1959, you young people don't know nothing about that, right? The media was introducing groundbreaking TV shows based in what? Supernatural. Now, look very carefully, family. Back in the day, there was something called, and you wouldn't know it, One Step Beyond. All right? Now, is there something interesting that you noticed there? You're looking at the shadow. Very good. And this is what he used to say. and it used to scare the crap out of me when he talked. And this dude here used to be into mushrooms. He used to travel to South America and get fired up before he came on the show. And he used to say, this is 11 months before the proton synchrotron goes online, 11 months now. He says, what you're about to see is a matter of human record. Explain it? We cannot. Disprove it? We cannot. We simply invite you to explore with us the amazing world of the unknown, to take that one step beyond. Now, listen to the conditioning. Remember, preemptive programming. Maybe this will be more familiar to you. And this was 1 month before the synchrotron went online. There is a fifth dimension beyond that which is on a dimension of sight, a dimension of mind. You're moving into a land of both shadow and substance, of things and ideas. You've just crossed over into... Whoa! They're back. You're traveling to another dimension. A dimension not only of sight and sound, but of mind. Your journey into a wondrous land of both boundaries of that of imagination. That's the signpost up ahead. Your next stop? Oh, wow. Loving this. And even the music. How about this one? And this is the one that used to get you. There is nothing wrong with your television set. Whoa! Do not attempt to adjust the picture. We are controlling transmission. If we wish to make it louder, we will bring up the volume. If we wish to make it softer, we will tune it to a whisper. We will control the horizontal. We will control the vertical. We can roll the image, make it flutter. We can change the focus to a soft blur or sharpen it to crystal clarity. For the next hour, sit quietly and we will control all that you see and hear. We repeat, there is nothing wrong with your television set. You are about to participate in a great adventure. You are about to experience the awe and the mystery that reaches from the inner mind to... Please stand by. Now, they already got you hypnotized. Oh, my God. And I'm reaching for the... Do not attempt to adjust the picture. Okay. And then after they get out, we now return the control of your television set to you, as if you really had control of it, until next week at the same time when the control voice will take you to the outer limits. The control voice. You notice I have expressed or given accentuation to the words that are key, especially when you're dealing with hypnotism. Okay? Now, take a look. What's that on the bottom? CERN. Take a look on the top. Predictive programming. Are you ready? Yes. Are you seeing what I'm seeing? Yes. Because essentially you were already falling into the trap of predictive programming. Because he was already telling you what they were already building. You didn't know it, but he was conditioning you because what? You were supposed to know it already. It's very easy to accept because you've seen it already. You've seen it in him showing you exactly what it is they were doing. You didn't know they were doing this. You didn't know they were using the television, the movies, in order to get you prepared, to desensitize you to the next frame, to the next paradigm. Even this, most people don't understand about Dendera. Dendera is not just a sky map. It's a map of your plane. It's a map of the way that your plane is constructed. But that's another story. Look at, essentially, what are you seeing? Are you seeing it? Okay. Symbolism, people. Predictive programming. Using the templates of your fathers and mothers from ancient times in order to breach the dome, in order to get past the thresholds of the reality that you're trapped in, or actually they're trapped in because they came into our reality and screwed it up. Let's go to the next, and you'll see it again, just to show you that there are things. Oh, here we go. Look out. Synthetic discernment, entertainment. Okay? It's all in the wording, right? Remember this? Oh, Yu-Gi-Oh! Yu-Gi-Oh! How many of y'all got your children looking at this? And no, not even your children. How many of y'all into this? See? See, there you go. Yu-Gi-Oh! Everybody dealing with Yu-Gi-Oh! New movie for Yu-Gi-Oh! Came out, didn't they? Just about 2 weeks ago, Yu-Gi-Oh! Came out with a new movie. Yep. And it's called what? The Dark Side of Dimensions. Whoa. Whoa, wait a minute. The Dark Side of Dimensions. Who is this actually targeting? What, ages, 6 to 15? 6 to 16? You know, the dark side of dimensions? What do you have to teach them about that for? What's there about the dimensions that you're discovering that you're trying to give them predictive programming to prepare them for? Okay, so here's more of your predictive programming. This comes up in the movie. Okay, and what are we looking at? Same issue. We saw that Stargate at the time. They're giving the children predictive programming. Well, check this out. If you saw the movie, this character at the top, whoever he is, tell me who he is. I know you know. Oh, okay, whoever that is. All right. Now, he's talking big smack. He says, what's this? I can summon my high-level monsters without paying any cost. Ooh, karma less action. Okay? All right. This guy at the bottom says, correct. In this duel, you won't be summoning monsters in the normal fashion. You will be dimension summoning. Furthermore, you are allowed to choose how many attack and defense points each of your monsters have. And how would I do that exactly? By what? This is what they're targeting your children with. Now, here's why I'm going to say, pay attention to the fact that dimension summoning and points that your monsters, what you're allowed to have, and how you do what you do exactly. So what happens? So he says, fine then, with these new rules, we'll make them crushing you simpler than before. Dimension summon, rise up, crystal dragon. Now wait a minute. Do you know that your DNA has been dysfunctioned? Okay. Do you know that a purely carbon body is the most inefficient body living in this present consciousness time zone? You are the most inefficiently put together. The only thing saving you, or all you have as your remnant, is your melanin. The reason for that is the silicon, which was another part of the reality that you were in, was degraded from your DNA patterning. You are part carbon and silicon as well as gold, and all of that was destabilized and dysfunctioned in your body, which is why just breathing causes you to die. Let me just say that. Breathing oxygen creates what? Not carbon dioxide in your body. And that makes you high. Oxidizes you. So every time you breathe, you're rusting. How could it be that the divine creator created you to do the very thing that keeps you alive while it kills you? And if you accelerate yourself to run and do anything of hyperactivity, you accelerate the amount of toxins and poisons in your system. Why? Has anybody ever thought about that? The most efficient processor of light and sound and water is silicon. It is actually tabulated as a life form. They want to downgrade its significance, but there was silicon life on this planet along with us. Most people don't understand that the silicon life and connection, that was the connection we had with our Mother Earth. The disconnect from the earth has caused us not to be operating within the vibratory frequency that allowed our thoughts to automatically appear just by envisioning them. The medium has been polluted. You no longer have that power. You can feel it inside of you. It's limited to you. You can feel your body change if you have a sexual experience. You can think about sex and then it can cause your body to feel it. That's how you've been limited to this part of your morphogenetic field. You can no longer cast out your thoughts and allow nature to use that reverberation to form the matter necessary around that intention. You no longer possess that. You have it latent, but it has been suppressed in you, and that's why these types of technologies are trying to keep you from consciousness secretion, coming into that ability to use your thoughts and your mind to be actually use the intentions that you have. So let's move forward. What does he say? He's starting to rise up. What is he doing? What are you noticing? I see you've spirited your monster's attack points to the max. What do you notice here? The spirit goes completely. You have sacrificed your spirit. You have taken away the spirit itself from you, given it up for this power of the dragon. And the children and young people don't understand that that is a psycho-spiritual embedded programming for predictive programming. And here we go. What is this? I can summon my high-level monsters without paying any cost? And that's exactly what he has done. He's his crystal dragon. Just make sure that you understand what the dragon was all about. But check this out. What are you looking at here? When I took this picture and I saw this, what am I looking at here? You're looking at the sun, but no, you're looking at a very subtle use of a specific symbol. Somebody saw it. And this is in your children's television. Predictive programming. The dark side of dimensions. Now, in 2015 was declared by the UN the International Work Years of Light, or Annus Lucis 5775. Coincidentally, after a 2-year hiatus, the Large Hadron Collider began its second-year run of experiments in June of that year, smashing together subatomic particles at 13 tera-electron volts, the highest energy ever achieved in a laboratory. Physicists were attempting to produce completely new particles in their search for what? The God particle. Fools. In 2015 also marked the 100th anniversary of the publication of Einstein's bogus theory of general relativity, where the science mafia had the nerve to celebrate this host as the International Year of Light and light-based technologies to the UN General Assembly to further ingrain the predictive programming protocol of Operation Mindfuck. 2015 saw a sudden and profuse influx of movie themes centered on CERN-like scenarios related to interdimensional travel, stargates, parallel universes, movies like Project Almanac, Fantastic Four Remake, Tomorrowland, Thor: The Dark World, Predestination, Jumper, and this movie. People were thrown into alternative Earths that range from subtly different to post-apocalyptic. What is this building? Isn't CERN a building? Okay, so parallels. Another predictive programming. Are you looking at this? Are you looking at this? Check the name of this movie. Predestination. Okay, I'm giving you what they're telling you about CERN. Remember this one?
Yep, that's Dark City.
Not Dark City. What we're looking at is Stargate. Remember the Stargate? But check what happens there. Okay? You're being subtly programmed. You're being subtly given certain types of symbols. Look at this. Remember Independence Day? Check? Okay, Independence Day resurgence. What are you looking at above you? What are you looking at above you? The programming to get you to accept the reality of quantum computing around the world, where they create a necklace of quantum computers so that they will definitely change the reality, is what is on their minds. Remember this? For all you occultists, what are you looking at? Independence Day. Remember Independence Day? That time when it was they blew up the White House. Everybody cheered, by the way, when I saw it the first time. And the Empire State Building. But when they were showing you the empire, they were showing you what the empire was actually focused upon. And if you looked at it, you'll see that it is actually the 8-pointed star of Astaroth. And who is Astaroth? In demonology, Astaroth is the great Duke of Hell. Third in the hierarchy of the evil trinity called Beelzebub and Lucifer. He is the masculine polarity of the Phoenician goddess Astarte. However, in the Testament of Solomon, 1 Kings 11:4 and 5, he is called Astaroth in Greek, an angel opposing the demon of power. So they're playing games, both sides. But it means nothing. How many people saw this part of it when they were dealing with, this is another slide of Independence Day, and that showed you the weapon that they were using. What is the weapon? It's CERN, essentially, to give you, again, predictive programming. And something more familiar. One that, are you looking? See? Nothing is sacred. They are using everything to get you on board. One more time. 2001 Space Odyssey. Okay? More predictive programming. Other movies related to the Mandela effect. Frequencies, aka OXV, the manual. You need to check that movie out. This is the movie, not the frequency where the father talks to the son. This is the one where people have found that there were secret words that could change your mind. Let me say that again. They found that there are sequencing of certain words that would make you change your mind. You wouldn't think to know, and then open you up to suggestions. Okay? All the way down, Johnny Dark or Premonition. We just saw that. Dimensions 2013. Inception. Excellent movie. Total Recall 1990. Looper. Cloud Atlas. Minority Report. Paycheck. A Scanner Darkly. Next. Alright? The Adjustment Bureau. Alright? Truman Show, which we're all in. Okay? Let's go to the next. What is this?
Mecca.
Mecca. Are you looking at it? Are you checking it out? Okay? Who is building what to get what through here? Alright? Imprints. Because we are people who imprint images. Not just words, but images that condition us. Look again. Interesting? Again, if you open your first eye, okay, eye of Heru, you see things that others don't. You sound crazy to those others, but you know that the world you walk in is completely different from the world that they occupy. And sometimes you end up being alone. But that's all right. Alone is good. Alone means, as I said, alone means you like being with yourself. I like my thoughts. I like what I think like. I taught my son that leaders are always alone. Leaders are there because they've been karmically chosen to do work. Work on behalf of the people. You sign the contract. You put yourself into that position. And you take the responsibility for what you teach, for what you share, because it comes back to you. It either builds you or destroys you. One or the other. You either lift your people or you bring them down. Okay? So, understand and overstand. It's all right to be alone. Lonely means you don't like being with your own thoughts. You don't like the way you feel when there's nobody else to distract you from the way you feel and think. So get to know what's in here. Put things in here that you would love to reassess and go back and check. And have a fun with. I love calculating. I love deciphering. I love decoding. Constantly doing it. I'm always bugging my lady. You know, did you see that? I can't enjoy anything for itself, except John Wick. I like John Wick because there's no thinking involved. Just, I'll kill them all. I get it. You know, there's no real thinking on that part. You know, that's it. But you know, I like a good action piece, but I like thinking movies as well, and people who try to play with my mind. That's why I tell all my students, take a pad and pen with you so you can make notes. Okay? Now, CERN. No one knows what it does. No one. firing particles at each other at the speed of light can't end well. We physicists have no damn idea what we're doing. Let's just do this. I'll just give you a quick rundown. Hopefully you can hear it. Are we up and running yet? Are we up and running yet? Are we up and running yet? Can we be up and running? No, I guess we're not. No, let me go back here. Okay. Are we on Wi-Fi?
No.
No?
No, actually you are.
Yeah, I thought we were.
Put them on?
Are we on Wi-Fi? Because that's a...
No, we actually bypassed. He'll put you on, remember?
Oh, okay, yeah. We want to be on. Be careful because it's going to take you into YouTube. Yeah, go ahead. It should be in the center. It should have come up already. Yeah, it should have come up in the middle. All right. Well, that's all right. What it's going to do is break down what CERN was about, how they lied. And I wanted to also give you information further on down the road. Anyway, let's move on. Okay, there were 12 founding states. I can give you that. You can read this, look it over yourself. Okay, point of interest, CERN is alleged to have been built on an ancient temple site erected by the Romans to honor Apollo, called Apollicum. And here we consider it, this is where, the Christians went ape over it. Okay, the maggots of Roman Christianity. Let's go to here. We see that CERN equals 666. Now you understand that the CERN equals 666. You understand that www, since they were the ones who created the World Wide Web, it had to be the same. So CERN equals 666. www in Kabbalistic gematria, World Wide Web, is war, and that is 666. That's the sixth letter. So every time you go www, dial into the devil. Now let's do with the Large Hadron Collider. Okay, now this is the beast that they talk about. This is the one that is dealing with other colliders around the world. This is the one dealing with other colliders around the world. Now look, the Large Hadron Collider was built by CERN between 1998 and 2008 in collaboration with over 10,000 scientists and engineers from around 100 countries. Not one of them was from Africa except the Israelis. It first started up on 10 December 2008. India gave the statue of Shiva to CERN, which was unveiled Monday, June 15, 2004. Coincidentally, Obama in his November 4, 2008 victory speech said, "Let those who've been told for so long by so many to be cynical, fearful, and doubtful about what we can achieve, to put their hands on the arc of history and bend it once more toward the hope of a better day." For whom? Why would you want to put your hands on the arc of history? Why would you want to mess with the past? Okay. Well, let's take a look. Remember this? More programming. Okay, at the Collider, there are panels of writing, both contemporary and ancient, surrounded by blue beams. Ooh. They appear to be special sayings contributed by the participating countries in Mandarin, Hebrew, Arabic, and Dravidian texts. But one panel bears what appears to be a far more ancient script, perhaps Amharic, Sanskrit, or sigils from the invocatory language of Enochian magic. That one over there. Alice in Wonderland, a component, supposedly blew up, but we'll talk about that. There's a component in CERN, Alice Through the Looking Glass. Is about hooking into blank slate technology, which is another technology we'll talk about, and the manipulation of perception within the targeted rubric of space-time, where viewing and or changing the imprints of morphogenetic energy that remain as residual signatures or templates of events and people of the past in real time is accomplished. Atlas, a toroidal LHC apparatus. Alice, a large ion collider experiment. Okay? All right. The director of CERN gave an interview to the British press where he stated that they want to open a door to another dimension. He said, when we open the door, something might come through into our reality and vice versa. Interesting as well that the movie series Resident Evil was about a cloned female named Alice, created in an underground facility called the Hive. In 1999, CERN proposed to carry out quantum vortex experiments searching for elements called solar axions. Axions are hypothetical particles that are alleged components of dark matter. In order to find these axions, CERN proposed the use of a decommissioned magnet designated with the name Satan. One of the attempts at creating a portal happened in an area where reports of an ancient stargate was discovered in the ancient city of Babylon, which is now called Iraq. Now wait a minute.
Peace, family. This Brother Rich from UGR, urging all my viewers and subscribers to help support the channel by donating just $1 to the UGR PayPal account. We appreciate the viewership and support, and we understand the power of $1. If you benefit in any way, shape, or form, we ask that you donate $1, whether it be monthly, bi-monthly, quarterly, or yearly, so that we can build our brand to compete with the NBCs, the MTVs, and the Foxes of the world. I figured since Kanye could ask Mark Zuckerberg for $1 billion, I could ask my subscribers to donate $1 so I could make the best possible content possible. The main objective of this channel is to inspire you to become the greatest version of yourself. So hopefully throughout the years of you watching this program, you have been inspired to become the greatest version of yourself. If you would like to donate, you could go to www.paypal.com and send a donation to richandmerit7@yahoo.com. Thank you and enjoy the rest of your program.
I went from living like monks, living out back of the trunk, to pockets of fat with the mums, pockets of fat like the clubs. Now I am living like Trump, now I am living like Trump. Mimosas and mimosas, mimosas and mimosas, mimosas and mimosas, the Morris Costa Nostra. Pulling up in Testarossa, we charging the debt, discharging the debt, discharging the debt, we charging the jet. Swipers on deck, ciphers on deck, ciphers on deck, wipers on deck, wipers on deck. My life is on check, my life is on check, my life is on tubes, my life is a Jew, my life is on you, my wife is on two, my wife is on two. I'm going for 3, you know it is me. Bread is the pillar, the jet is my pillar.